Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Advanced Bass Fishing, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to spend some time with me today. And I want to talk about the three favorite types of cover for bass to live in. Bass are super adaptable. They can live about anywhere under any conditions, and they can adapt to about any cover. But there's three types of cover that if they had their rathers, that's where they're going to be at. And so we're going to talk about that and sort of give you guys some tips and advice on how to capitalize on that in today's episode. Also, guys, before we get started, a couple quick things here. Just like to invite anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me. You can do that by going to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler. Just shoot me a private message for information there. And also, guys, big thank you from me and my family, everybody out there that's been using and bookmarking my Tackle Warehouse link for your tackle purchases. I know you guys get probably burned out on me talking about this, but if it wasn't for stuff like that, guys, we couldn't have the YouTube channel. So if you guys are looking to buy tackle or you need gear, if you use and bookmark that link, it's a good way to get some good deals and help the channel out too. So really appreciate that. Okay, bass are incredible in terms of what they can live in. I have literally seen bass living in chocolate milk farm ponds where there was nothing but mud banks everywhere and the water visibility was like that, to gin clear impoundments where you got 30, 40, 50 foot of water clarity and everything in between. They're survivalists and they can live about anywhere, but there's three primary types of cover that I have found that they love to live in if they can get by with it. Okay, so the first one, I'm going to talk about what I consider the third, second, and then we'll talk about the number one type of a cover at the end there. The first type of cover that bass love to live around is shade. Now, shade, a lot of people don't equate it, but shade is cover. It's like bass use shade as cover because it creates a low light situation. And bass feed and they thrive better in a low light situation. That's just part of their predatory adaptability. If you see shade anywhere, with the exception of the water is like in the 40s or low 40s, bass will always gravitate to any shade on a lake. I don't care if the water visibility is a foot in visibility or 50-foot visibility. You can literally run a pattern and you can use shade as cover the same way you could with any other piece of cover like a rock or a piece of wood, anything like that. So one of the things that I like to do with that is I like to pay close attention to the angle of the sun in relationship to the banks, because if you do that, if you pay attention to the angle of the sun in relationship to how the banks face on a lake, you can fish shade a lot of times all day long. I'll give you guys a prime example. There's this one big creek arm that I fish on Table Rock Lake a lot. And in the summertime of the year, shade is super critical. So I fish this thing enough to know, like literally where every single shade line is. I don't care if it's 8 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 5 o'clock in the evening. Based upon the angle of the sun, I simply bounce around to simply different areas that are catching that shade. And you don't have to have very much shade. It's like when I'm talking about a shade line, it could be something as big around as the front of your boat. Anything that creates some type of shade will hold fish. So shade is number one thing. Okay, the second type of cover, guys, that bass love to live on and they gravitate to on any lake you go to is a boat dock. Boat docks are great cover for fish, and there's a lot of different reasons, because based upon the size and the design of a boat dock, there are literally places on a boat dock that anglers can't get to. It's like if you have a floating dock and there's boats in those slips, those bass can tuck in around those walkways in the middle part of the dock, and you can't ever get a lure to them. They're completely protected by that. It's got the ability for bass to suspend. They can use a variety of depths. It's like a restaurant. It's like a food source for fish, because there'll be plankton and algae growing on the boat docks. That brings in the minnows, that brings in the perch, and that brings in the bass. So they have a combination of shade, they have cover, and they have food. And the complexity and the diversity of a dock just makes it just a great piece of bass cover that they love to, because they can get up and they can spawn like underneath the walkway areas, and they can also get out on the ends of those docks in the deeper water. So anytime that you find a lake that has docks on it, I have never been to a lake where bass will not use a dock. But the number one piece of cover that bass love above anything else is aquatic vegetation. It's like again, if you have aquatic vegetation in the lake that you fish, there will be bass there. Aquatic vegetation is the ultimate in terms of cover for a fish, because based upon the type of aquatic vegetation, it could be a lily pad field or a row of cattails or some hydrilla or milfoil. It is a haven for the entire food chain. You've got insects and you've got bugs living in there, which attract the perch and the smaller fish, which keep the fish in there. Not only that the bass have good ambush points, but the other fish have it. It's like perch can hide, they can get away from the bass. It's this entire self-contained ecosystem around grass. And grass also will produce oxygen, so you usually got higher oxygen levels. So anytime that you have grass in a lake, you need to really, really concentrate on fishing grass. And the techniques for grass, guys, it's just all over the board, because it depends on the water clarity, the type of grass. If the grass is emergent, which is underwater, or, coming out above the water, or submergent if it's underwater. So there's just a lot of information that you can get about how to fish grass if you just, look on the YouTube channels, including mine. But that's the three things, guys: shade, boat docks, and grass. If you have those combinations, always go to those before anything else, and you'll put yourself around a lot of fish if you do so. So anyway, guys, hope you guys are well. We'll talk later.